got a lot of stats after last night. The Vegas Golden Knights, congratulations. It took them 6 long years to win a Stanley Cup.
Finally.
Forever.
Some lean years.
Yep, they finally did it.
All they've been through.
If you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, you got to be going, you got to be kidding me. We've been waiting decades. Half a century here, and they end up winning a Stanley Cup in the first 6 years of their existence. They've been to the Stanley Cup final twice in 6 years. And the Golden Knights had 4 different players score at least 10 goals this postseason. They roughed up the Panthers 9-3. Now, if you're going to look at that, so you say 9-3. If I was going to attach a touchdown for every one of those goals, that's 63-21 that they won last night. Basically, after the second period, they could have brought the cup to intermission and let the Vegas Golden Knights just sort of get familiar with it. Congrats to the Vegas Golden Knights in their 6th season of existence. They win the Stanley Cup. Vegas scored 26 goals in the Stanley Cup final. That's the most by any team since the 1991 Pittsburgh Penguins, and matching the 1981 New York Islanders for the most in a 5-game series in the final.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Woo! Stat of the day brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show. They had 9 goals on 31 shots.
That seems high percentage.
It does. It felt like there was more scoring this year, or at least in the playoffs. I don't know the number of goals scored or the average number of goals scored per game. Yes, Todd?
It also felt, at least last night, that Vegas was on a power play for the entire game. That there was at least one more player on the ice for them.
They might have been. I like, when we have guys who have injuries and we're like, that guy's bothered by, he tweaked his ankle, or this guy's got a, hurt finger. Matt Tkachuk, he has a broken sternum.
Wow.
And still played. But I almost said his dad, Keith Tkachuk. That's how old I am. I remember when he was playing. But Matthew Tkachuk, he had a broken sternum. It still came back to play. I don't know what injury you can have in hockey where you don't come back, where your teammates realize, no, he's not going to be able to come back. Now, maybe a concussion, maybe, but they would somehow hide that. The one hockey player but they lost track of how many stitches he had above his eye. I think they stopped at 80, but he still came out and played. If you're a hockey player and you get hurt, and you're like, God, my teammate's going to be so disappointed. I mean, I got a broken leg, but it's not that bad.
It's broken anyway. You might as well get a shift in. Can you guys ever remember a final sporting event, like Super Bowl, any title event where it felt over earlier? When the end of the second period, fans were taking pictures and starting to celebrate at the end of the second period.
Like 28-3, the Falcons and the Patriots. It felt like it was over. I still love when, NFL Films captured some of the Falcons and they were talking trash like the game is over. And then there's one player saying, hey, Tom Brady's out there. Don't start celebrating. Yes, Eaton.
It feels like college football national championships could have where it gets real ugly real early. Alabama, Notre Dame comes to mind, where it was like, okay, this is big brothers versus little brothers here. This isn't going to work.
Felt over during the national anthem.
Yeah. All right, the Milwaukee Bucks won an NBA title in their 3rd season. The Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001 with Big Unit and Curt Schilling, they won the World Series in their 4th season. The Marlins were in their 5th season in 1997. So here they are, their 5th season, and they're facing the Cleveland Indians, the Indians at the time, and the Indians lose in dramatic fashion. Edmonton Oilers, 5th season, that was 1983. The Baltimore Ravens, 5th season. They were technically an expansion team, but actually that was the relocated Browns, though they had to leave their nickname in the history in Cleveland. That one doesn't count. Ravens, not an expansion team. And then the Golden Knights, their 6th season.